Welcome everybody to week 14, day 2. So today we're mostly going to do lab time. You're getting your next homework assignment today. That homework assignment is Pokemon Part 2. And Pokemon Part 2 will be helped by having used unordered maps before. Because kind of the one kind of technical challenge here is that you're going to be given a word like dragon. You're going to be given like a 17 by 17 array, and you have to look up the row corresponding to dragon and the column corresponding to like fire. And so you have to map between a word, a string, like dragon type, plant type, grass type, water type, whatever, and what row and column that corresponds to. So if you go into your Pokemon Part 2 directory, I've created a demo that uses a map, and it maps between a string and the row and column it corresponds to. So what you're going to be loading is this thing right here. So this is a 2D array of not ints, 2D array of floats. So you can see there's a 0.5 up in here. If you try treating these things as ints, you're going to be disappointed and confused when the thing returns 0 instead of 0.5. So what you're going to load is a 17 by 17 array, and then you're going to do lookups into the table. So if it's basically a text version of this file right here. Okay, so the first row corresponds to the normal type in Pokemon. So in Pokemon, they have what's called a type system. You don't have to know Pokemon in order to do this homework assignment. I'm not a big Pokemon person myself, but it makes for a great learning exercise because you got to do things like load things from disk and use a map. And you've got a data structure holding all the different Pokemon out there, all the different moves. You'd be grabbing the strength of one Pokemon and the defense of another Pokemon and the power of a move and checking to see if the types match. And you're gonna have a week to do it. You're gonna be partnered. It's not honestly that bad, but it's a good exercise to kind of integrate all the different skills that you've learned so far this semester. So what this means is that if the attacking type is, let's say, water, and the defender is a fire type Pokemon, then the water attacking move will do double damage against a fire defending Pokemon. And that's like, I don't know, this one or something like that. I'd have to count it out, but it's like, that's what that one is. So the attacking type is water, the defending type is fire. It does double damage. Whereas if you have the attacking type be water and the defending type be water, does half damage. Or if the defending type is grass, it does half damage. Okay. Fire does half damage to fire. Yeah. Water does half damage to water. However, dragon does double damage against dragon. So it's the only thing the dragon type does more damage against other dragons. Anyhow, so it's going to be a good exercise for all of you. And the map demo file that I have here is, if you run it, please enter type fire, and it says that's row, and the column is the same too, right? It's row 0, normal corresponds to row 0, and it also corresponds to column 0, right? Fight is row 1, and it corresponds to column 1. Flying is row 2 and also column 2. So it gives you the row or the column index. It's kind of symmetrical across the diagonal. Normal, fight, flying, poison. Right? So this is a little program, a little demo program that shows you how you can go from a string, because that's how the types are held, right? They're held as strings. Dragon type, ghost type, psychic type, whatever, into an index that you will use to grab from this thing here. Okay. Oh boy. It's not too bad. And so what we're going to do in our lab time today is just focus on loading this. Okay? Just getting this loading. And if you get that done, then grab the ability to say how much damage does ghost type do to psychic type? That's what we're going to be doing in lab time today. So let's go through the assignment though first. And you want to start with your previous Pokemon assignment. This is not auto-graded. There's no input test. This is graded by hand. I am almost done with the RPG assignment. Not everybody put things like their partners and what bullet points they did and if they did extra credit or not, which just makes grading take longer. So I have to play the game and then hunt through all the code to see did they have an inventory system, you know. It's it just takes a while to grade by hand. It just does. So I spend about 4 hours a day grading or something like that. It takes a while. Okay, so here's what you're going to implement for this assignment. The user must select 2 Pokemon to battle. So you have to allow selecting the Pokemon either by the Pokedex number or by name. So when you run the program, it'll be like, player 1, what Pokemon do you want to use? And player 1 can type in either Pikachu or 25. Yeah, 25 is Pikachu. Right. So how do you know if somebody typed in a number or if they typed in a word? I'll throw that out to you guys. So the user can either type in 25 or Pikachu. How do you, as the programmer, detect if they typed in a number or a non-number word? Is alpha or is digit? Very good. Yeah, so you're going to get their input as a string and then look at the first letter of the string. If the first letter is a number, then it's a number. The first character, I should say, not letter. If the first character of the string is digit, right? Right, so like is digit s dot at 0. Right, that tells you if the first letter of the string is a number or not. If it's a number, then you're going to stoy it, string to integer, convert the string into an integer, and then load index 25 or whatever. If it's a letter, if it's is alpha, then or just say otherwise, then look through the Pokemon database for a name that matches Pikachu, and then pull Pikachu out of the database. Okay. Yeah, very good. Is digit stir? Yeah, is digit stir doesn't work. It doesn't work on an entire string. It works on a character. So you have to grab the first character out of a string to tell if something is a number or a letter. All right, so that's a letter grade. That's a letter grade. They type in either a number or a word, and then you copy out of your Pokemon database. Give me a copy of Pikachu, and then okay, what's player 2's Pokemon? Mew. All right, cool. You copy out Mew. These are the 2 Pokemon, and then for each of the Pokemon, you can give them up to 4 moves. Any Pokemon can have any move. You can have Rattata use Hyper Beam if you want. It's fine. I think even you can do that normally. It's a bit weird, but tutus. Yeah, there you go. What moves can it have? It doesn't show Hyper Beam here. Maybe Hyper Fang is what I was thinking of. I think in Pokemon Go they can actually have Hyper Beam. So anyway, point is we don't care. For this assignment, any Pokemon can learn any move. And again, we're only going to have moves that are damage dealing moves. We're not going to worry about any of these status moves or any of the side effects. All we're going to worry about for this assignment is just doing damage. We're going to implement the complete Pokemon combat system, but we're not going to implement Pokemon. right? Because Pokemon has way more complicated stuff, like you know, you do the attack and then your defense goes down or something like that. Wild charge and things like that. So yeah, you can make a Rattata with dragon thing or whatever if you want. It's fine. It doesn't matter. And so step 1, the user enters the 2 Pokemon, and then the user enters up to 4 moves. The first Pokemon has up to 4 moves. The second Pokemon has, if you don't enter any moves for the Pokemon, they get struggle, which is what happens in Pokemon when you have no moves at all. You get struggle instead. You then enter combat mode. So you see which of the 2 Pokemon has a higher speed stat. Either Rattata or Mew, right? And Mew will have a higher speed stat, so Mew gets to go first, right? If there's a tie, then you flip a coin. You flip a coin by calling Rand modulus 2, and that'll give you either 0 half the time or 1 half the time. Okay. So, Splash thinks. Okay, and so it's Mew's turn. So what you're going to do is you're going to select one of the 4 different moves that Mew has, and you should probably think about how am I going to hold the list of moves on my Pokemon. So in the last class, Mr. Bell suggested using an array of moves. I suggested you could do maybe a vector of moves. So every Pokemon can have up to 4 moves associated with it. You could just use 4 variables. That was suggested by people in the class last time. You can have move 1, move 2, move 3, move 4. There's a lot of ways you can do it, and they're just going to be of type move. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. All that matters is that the user can pick one of the 4 moves for Pokemon 1, and then it will come to the heart of the assignment. The heart of the assignment is figuring out how much damage your attack does. And this is a thing. This is algebra, and each of the components of this are going to require you to grab the data from somewhere, right? So let's go through this one at a time. So let's say that for Mew you have chosen Dazzling Gleam. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to go into the move that you've saved, or you can go to the moves database, either way. And is it not in here? All right. Well, let's say it is Psybeam. Okay. So let's say you pick Psybeam from you. It has an attack of 65, attack power of 65. Okay. So that would be 65. So you're going to grab the selected move dot power. You're going to grab the power of the move chosen. Psybeam, 65 would go in there. You then multiply it by Mew's attack. Mew's attack is 100. So you have a Pokemon variable that holds player 1's Pokemon, which is Mew. You would say player 1 dot attack. That's where the 100 would come from. And then you divide by the defense of the defending Pokemon, Rattata. And so, Pokemon.text. I don't remember the order. HP, attack, defense. Okay. HP, attack, defense, speed. HP, attack, defense. Okay, so Rattata has a defense of 35. Okay. So the Dazzling Gleam, or the move we picked rather than Dazzling Gleam, has an attack of 65. Has a power of 65. Mew has an attack of 100. Rattata has a defense of 35. And make sure you're doing floating point division here. If you're not doing floating point division and your defense is higher than the offense, it's very likely that your attack will do like 0 damage when it should do some damage. because integer division rounds down, right? And so if you have an attack of 50 and a defense of 100, you'll depending on how you do the algebra, if you're doing integer division, it will round to 0. And you'll get 0 times this, times this, times this, times this. And you're like, why is my attack doing no damage? Well, it's because you're not doing floating point division. So I would use floating point division instead of, maybe like wrap this like float, or if you want more precision, double. Okay. Are you guys with me on this? Do you guys understand why you need to use decimal division? Right? Like if you had 50 divided by 100, that's 0. And so if you do that, you multiply it by the power, and you multiply it by 1.5, and you multiply it by 2, you end up getting 0 as the result when it shouldn't be 0. Okay. So integer division is one of those things that is a gotcha. You got to be careful. Got to be careful with it. So let's go through our calculation of the attack. So there's this thing called stab, and that's the same type attack bonus. And same type attack bonus means the type of the Pokemon matches the type of the move. So Pokemon can have up to 2 types. You have to check both. So Mew is a psychic type Pokemon, I believe, and we're doing a psychic type move. Therefore, we will get the same type attack bonus, because a psychic Pokemon is doing a psychic move. If you have a psychic Pokemon doing a fire move, you don't get it. So, if it's off type, stab would be 1, but we have a psychic Pokemon doing a psychic move, so it's times 1.5. So you do 50% more damage. A fire Pokemon doing a fire move does 50% more damage with it than if it was like a rock Pokemon doing a fire move. Okay. It's called same type attack bonus. And then finally, we're going to do the type modifier, and that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be reading through that type chart. So a fire type move damaging a grass type Pokemon does double damage. In this case, we have a psychic type move from Mew hitting a normal type Pokemon Rattata, and or if we want, we can make it a Galarian Rattata. That might be a little more interesting. I don't know. But a regular Rattata is just a normal type, and so what we're going to do is we're going to check our type table here. And this is where knowing our maps comes in, the map demo code that I give you, because you have a Pokemon using a psychic attack, attacking a Pokemon of normal type. And so, psychic here, defender is normal, it is 1 times damage. Okay. Now, there is one tricky bit, which is that Pokemon can have 2 types, and they stack together. So if you have a normal Pokemon, a normal move, hitting a rock ghost type, then it will do 1/2 times 0 damage, which is to say 0 damage. If you have a fighting type Pokemon attacking a normal flying type, it'll do 1 times damage. So a fighting type move against a Pidgey, which is a normal flying type Pokemon, 2 times 1/2 is 1. If, however, you have a fighting type hitting a rock ice type, that's 2 times 2 times. So a fighting type move against a rock ice type Pokemon would do quadruple damage. Okay? Quadruple damage. And then you have to print to the screen. It is highly effective. Okay? So, if we were doing a Galarian Rattata, no, a Alolan Rattata, that's what I'm thinking of. So, a regular Rattata is just normal type, but Alolan Rattatas are both normal and dark type, which is a bit weird, if you think about it. So, it is normal and dark type. So, if we come back over to our thing here, if we have a psychic type attack, hitting a normal type, it's 1 times, and hitting a dark type, which is where, oh, this doesn't have dark type on it. So if we have a psychic type hitting normal, it's 1 times, and if it's hitting dark type, it is 0 times. So mu hitting a Alolan Rattata would do 0 damage if we were using this for our table. And there's different versions of this type system table, as you can see. I have provided the official one for the class. And it's more or less, if you are a Pokemon nerd, it's more or less Gen 1, Gen 2, around there. This has been modified over the years. Just whichever one I give you, that's the official one for the class. So, do you guys see that? So a psychic attack hitting a normal dark Pokemon would do times 1. Anything not listed on here is 1 times 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Whereas if we were doing a psychic attack on a fighting type, just a fighting type, you do double damage. If it was psychic versus a poison fighter, you do quadruple damage. A psychic attack on a poison / psychic attack, psychic Pokemon would do 1 times damage. Do you guys get how the system works here? So there's going to be a type on the move, and there's going to be 1 or 2 types on the defender. And so you're gonna dip into this table and pull the modifiers out of it. Okay. Might be 1, might be 2. You're gonna have to check for it. They'll always have 1 type, but they might have 2. Yeah. And they won't have 3. It would break everything. So if we were against a normal, Rattata, that would be our algebra. And against an Alolan Rattata, which is normal. Yeah. It would be times 1 times 0, and so it would do no damage. It would be completely ineffective. Okay? And that's it. That's basically your entire assignment. Is all of it builds up to doing this algebra here. One of the letter grades is for figuring out the stab bonus. One of the letter grades is figuring out the type system. Okay. One of the letter grades is for picking out the Pokemon and the moves from your Pokemon database and your moves database. And one of them is just figuring out which Pokemon should go first. This is pretty easy to do. So if you're not going to do anything on this assignment, at least, get this far, right? Pull out a Pokemon, see which one's faster, say Pikachu goes first, and then quit. There you go. 2 letter grades, you get a D on it. Call it a day. C's get degrees. There was a student in my Japanese class who told me that. I was studying, and I was at IT on Sean Fresno, South Hills Corner, and I'm studying for our midterm. I'm in there at the Bobo place that he worked at, and he's just sitting there working. I'm like, dude, are you going to study for this test? He's like, nah, man, C's get degrees. Oh, dude, it's such a poor attitude. IT is good though. Yeah, it is a good place, but it's like, yeah, that attitude, like, you should always push yourself and study, but I'm just saying, like, you gotta work, and push yourself. But if you're not going to, at least pick up, a couple letter grades, because they're pretty easy. So, like, people that just go for a 0, it's like, I don't get it. Like, So let's figure out how much damage this would do. 65 times 100 divided by 35 times 1.5 would do 278, and I guess we'll round it. 0.57 rounded to 279 damage to a normal Tata. You would do 0 damage to a... Let me just double check that, because I don't remember if our type system has zeros in it. It does. Okay. Let me just verify that that is correct. Psychic is row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and it's third from the end. 9 down. No, it's half damage. So in our version of the type system, Psychic does half damage to Dark, not 0. Good to know. All right, so okay. So A students work for C students. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you're doing something productive with your time as a C student, you know, it could be fine, but I don't know. In general in life, success is based on a constant desire to work hard and improve yourself, and you know, kind of doing the minimal is, yeah. I don't know. I believe you should do the minimal amount of work to get an A. How about that? You used to work there? It's funny. You probably know the guy then. I don't know. I'm not gonna rat him out though. So, work harder, not smarter. Yeah. No, work smarter, not harder. Or actually, work smarter and harder. I don't know. Something like that. A lot of people work hard, but they waste their time when they work, and that's bad. So yeah, I'd say smarter is better than harder. That's the computer science philosophy. Okay, so do you guys get this? Do you understand all the different steps here? So this is going to be grabbed from the move dot power. This is going to be the attacker dot attack. This is going to be defender dot defense. This is going to be, you're going to have some function to compute stab. And it'll either be 1 or 1.5. Stab will either be 1.5 or 1. And then this, the last number here, you'll have again a function that will look up the type, double damage, or whatever. Okay? That's it. That's all. You have a week to do this. Go ahead and tell me who you want your partners to be. And if you do not request a partner, then one will be assigned to you. So go ahead and private message me right now who you'd like to be partnered with, if you want to be partnered with anyone. If you do not message me, then you will have one assigned in about probably 5 minutes or so. I'll give you guys 5 minutes to figure out who you want your partner to be. Groups of 2 maximum. And same as before, as with last time, if you message your partner today, and if you don't hear back from them by today's Wednesday, by Friday, then I will take the AFK students that aren't responding and put them in a group with each other so that they don't drag down the grades of students that are trying to work actively on the assignment. So one of the downsides to online learning is that you have a couple students who are enrolled in the class that are just zombie students. They don't show up, they don't do any work, and you can't do anything about it because you can't even see them in real life, you know. So it's one of the downsides to online learning is that people could just ghost you, you know, and there's nothing you can do about it, you know. So, okay, so 5 minutes to pick out your partner. And then what I would like for you to do in the meantime is I'd like for you to, for lab time today, we're basically done now. I would like for you to load this. So this file here is a tab delimited file containing floats, not integers, floats. If you try If you try treating 0.5 as an integer, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay? Don't use stoy. Stoy is string to integer. Use string to float. S2F. S-T-O-F. String to float. You guys hear me? Don't use stoy. You're gonna get line until a tab into a string, and then use stof. Stof, not stoy. All right? You guys hear me? If you can't get line into a float, that doesn't work. You have to get line into a string, and then convert the string into a float. And you're going to read this into a, 17 by 17, something like that. You're going to read it into like a 17 by 17 array. You can make a 2D array. You can make a vector of vectors any way you want. What I'd like for you to do for the remainder of class is get this loaded into memory. And if you get it loaded into memory, then just write a little program that says, okay, the attacking type is fire. The defending type is water. Bloop, it does half damage. Just try to get that working by Friday. But we're going to do this in lab time right now. And do you guys have any questions about that? Because we're stof. Yes, stof, not stoy. If you stoy this, what will happen is it'll turn it into 0. It won't throw an exception because the first letter is a number. The first character is a number. And so 0.5 will get converted to 0. And then you will be baffled when your Pokemon do no damage. And so the first thing you should do is load this into memory and print it out. And just make and look at it. Look at the original file, look at what you're printing out, and just make sure that what you've loaded matches. Right? If you do it incorrectly, if you do 16 by 16 instead of 17 by 17, or you know what I mean? Like if you get the dimensions wrong, then like the 2 on the next row could be on the first row, you know what I mean? Like you read 17 times when it should have been 16. I just heard screaming. You guys okay? I hear them laughing, so it should be fine. It's one of the things when you have a kid. It's like you hear screaming and it's like somebody either just got murdered or like they bounced a bouncy ball and it was really funny. I think Margaret knows what I'm talking about. It's like, did somebody just get a scissor stabbed into their left aorta? Or did they just find a My Little Pony on TV? You know, one or the other. Are you dead? No? Alright, thank you. Okay, so anyway, what I was saying was that if you get the dimensions of the array wrong, so count it out, you know. There's 18 rows here, so it's going to go from 0 to 17, right? So if there's 18 lines, make it 18 by 18. Don't make it 17 by 17, because if you do, that number is going to be on like the next row. And if you have the thing, you know what I mean? Like if you have the dimensions wrong, like numbers will appear in the wrong place and things like that. And if you use stoy instead of stof, then you will get zeros here instead of 0.5. So it's really important to sort of build your programs up like this. Build them up incrementally. Just a little bit at a time, and then print it out and test it. And then once it's printing to the screen right, then see if you can make it look up, okay, how much does a dragon type do to a rock type, you know? So that's your goal for today. And I will stop speaking now. I wasn't sure if that was you or me that had the scream. That's, yeah. Okay, so if you have any questions, ask. Go into lab time. I've got one person requesting a partner right now, so I assume that most of you guys just want to have random, but at 2:40 is when I will assign the random groups, okay? So peace out, and I will see you guys on Friday. There's no class tomorrow. Veterans Day, but we are going to be having a little bit of a gaming session online from noon to 3ish. So if you want to come and hang out and play video games, we will be here. I just can't get enough school, so I'm going to be on Discord doing gaming. Yep. All right. See you guys. Now noon we play Dune. That's right. That's right. We're playing the Dune board game, but you guys can play whatever you want. Okay. Peace.